This week I'm getting started on a project that is very unusual. It's a very unusual feature to a cruising sailboat, and I'm really excited about what it's going to add to the boat. My name is Matt. Follow along as I turn Duracell, the legendary ocean racing sailboat, into a comfortable cruising home. Also this week we are doing an ad integration into the video. For the most part, Patreons pay for the majority of this project, and we are eternally grateful for their support. The advertisement helps pay for this project as it becomes more and more expensive. We're trying to save up for things like high-ticket items like the hybrid propulsion system that we plan on installing. And we know that it sucks to be inundated with ads, and so we're going to turn off the mid-roll ads. And we're also really picky about who we choose to advertise for. We will only advertise for companies and products that we really enjoy ourselves, and we especially enjoy this week's sponsor. And so we hope you enjoy the ad as much as we enjoyed making it. And please support our sponsor, as that helps support the channel. The week started with a spring cleaning. Before I started this project, I set a goal of staying organized and keeping a tidy workspace, things that are sometimes a challenge for me. My mom is a master organizer, so she helped me get the boat cleaned up and organized, and I think it turned out looking really great. Right now I'm standing at the workbench, which is on the port side of the boat across from the head. The head is here on the starboard side. The stateroom, the V-berth, is behind me, which is forward. We've had this here for a few months now, and it's been super useful. We really like it. The reason that I'm putting a workbench into the boat is because I've always dreamed about having a place to do like handy work inside the boat. There will be plenty of storage to store tools so that it stays uncluttered. There's going to be both cabinets on both sides, as well as an overhead cabinet here. We've already got plenty of storage in the boat, especially like right here. This will be an entire huge locker space for pantry and supplies and extras, everything we'll need. You know, there's storage all over the boat. Counter will be Coosa board with about a 3/4 inch piece of melamine on top of it. The melamine will be basically sacrificial, and so anytime it gets messed up enough, we can just take it out and cut a new one and put it back in. It'll be just fastened to the Coosa board.
What is Coosa board?
Coosa board is a fiberglass impregnated foam. It's like a really structural foam. The stuff I'm using is called Blue Water 26, and it has woven woving in it, and so it's super strong. It's really good for, it'll be great for clamping to and hammering on and all kinds of stuff, and so it'll be just a really strong subsurface. But you know, there will be plenty of storage in this thing so that it will be uncluttered and it won't be eyesore inside the boat, which I think Yanni is worried about. I think a lot of people are worried about that. It will be an eyesore as we walk into our stateroom to go into bed. The purpose for the, like I said, the cabinetry and storage and everything around is to keep it uncluttered and looking very nice. There will also be, what we're planning on is kind of a fold out stool that will be stored away underneath here so that you can sit at the bench and we can do editing if we need to here, or whatever kind of project that I've always wanted to do inside the boat. So yeah, that's the next project, is taking this apart. There's very few modifications I want to make to it, but because I really like how it looks right now. But I have obviously a lot of sanding to do as well before I can get into it.
You've been using your mock-up workbench, so I'm curious, based on having used it now for a couple months, what changes do you want to make?
Not much. I'm going to change the angle of this face to be on this line so that it's kind of goes with the shape of the hull a little bit more. You know, as the hull tapers forward, I want this to follow that line. And then I'm going to bring this edge out a couple inches. Otherwise, I really like it.
What you doing?
Just getting ready for another lamination.
Is this like a new kind of epoxy additive?
Yeah, you just add 1 scoop to 8 ounces of water and shake it up.
It's so green.
Yeah, and it's edible.
Matt, that's dangerous.
Not only is it edible, it's also really good for you. We are very pleased that AG1 is sponsoring this episode. I've actually been drinking AG1 for a few weeks now, and I really enjoy the easy morning routine. I actually drink it before coffee every morning. It's a nutritional drink that boosts health and immunity. Drinking this stuff, it gives me energy to work on Duracell all day. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been laminating my foam panels pretty fast lately. But seriously, I actually do feel really good about drinking this stuff because I know that I'm getting tons of vitamins and minerals daily. AG1 gives you foundational nutrition packed with 75 vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens.
How would you describe the taste?
I have no idea what it tastes like, but I know that I like how it tastes. AG1 has a special offer for the Duracell Project viewers. Click on my link to get a 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D3, K2, and 5 travel packs free with your first purchase. I do hope you'll try AG1 and take advantage of this special offer if you go to athleticgreens.com/Duracell, or we'll put a link in the description below the video. So yesterday I was getting ready to start installing this workbench, and I began by sanding this whole area. As I got up to this hole to deck joint, there's a piece of fiberglass that attaches the hole here to the deck. And I noticed that there was a line down the center of it, and as I started sanding onto it, I realized that it was a crack in the fiberglass. As I started sanding more and more, what it looked like was that the fiberglass had been cracked, and it was kind of delaminated, which is just where the fiberglass comes away from the hole, or from the substrate that it was attached to.
Which would be foam core.
Well, in this case, it's more fiberglass underneath. And so I think what happened was more than 25 years ago, when the boat it collided with a container ship and it lost its mast. The mast didn't totally break free. A lot of the rigging broke, but it was still attached by a lot of rigging, and the mast was hanging down off the boat and smashing into the side, what's called the shear, or the whole deck joint right here, and it on the outside, so it snapped some of the fiberglass on the inside. So what I did was I ground everything off that was loose or delaminated. I dug out a bunch of the glue that attaches when they glue the deck to the hole. On this boat, they just set the deck onto the hole with glue on the seam, and then glassed over both the inside and the outside. And so I dug out any of the loose glue. I'm going to fill that with more thickened epoxy, and then vacuum bag a few layers of fiberglass to this hole to deck joint right here.
So you're not too concerned is what I'm gathering here.
No, I'm not. I think this comes with the territory, this kind of project, and that's why we had our survey done, so that we wouldn't run into any totally catastrophic, deal-breaking problems with the boat. And this is absolutely fixable. The boat was built really well, so it's held together really well. After putting 3 layers of 17-ounce Biax fiberglass tapes on, I vacuum bagged the repair. I will have to do the same repair to the exterior of the boat when the weather is good enough. This is the hard part.
What's hard about it?
It's just a little more complicated shape. Make sure I get it sealed and everything. Not be easy.
How's it working?
It's good. We've got a couple little holes to fix, but it's working fine. I cut out the workbench pieces using the Kusa board for the top and PET foam for the legs, and then I fit them in. After some trimming to get a good fit, it was time to glue in the workbench. As usual, I used thickened epoxy to glue it in. It was already late by the time I glued the table to the boat, so instead of laminating during this session, I'm just cleaning up the excess glue. And I'll come back tomorrow and finish laminating the table together then. Then I cut and fit the upper shelf. This will be a closed cabinet space with a few horizontally opening doors for easy access to tools and supplies. A little bit tight. I gotta trim it. So we wanted to share with you that John, who is the person that gave us Duracell, passed away a few weeks ago. John loved this boat very, very much, and we just wanted to share with you a little bit about him, kind of commemorate him, because what he did has changed our lives. He loved the boat so much that it was written about in his obituary. And so, from his father, John developed a love for boating and sailing. And in the early 90s, John purchased Duracell, the boat which Mike Plant had twice solo circumnavigated the planet. John rechristened the Duracell into the Northwest Spirit, and in 1994 he entered the Pan Pacific Yacht Race from LA to Osaka, Japan, commemorating the opening of the Kansai International Airport in Osaka. Out of 120 participants, John set a new 32-day record for the crossing, winning the first place trophy. He sailed the Northwest Spirit solo on his return to Seattle. And then next he set out preparing the vessel for a solo circumnavigation on his own. In 1995 he left. One night out of about 1,000 miles southwest of San Diego, he collided with a freighter, breaking the mast. And in the darkness, he donned his wetsuit, swam below to inspect the hull, and using a bolt cutter, he managed to cut loose the cables, letting the mast sink into the depths. And fortunately, he had enough diesel fuel on board to motor to safety at Turtle Bay in Baja California. So he had a lot of amazing adventures on this boat.
And so then where the story picks up from there is he took Duracell to his backyard in South Seattle, and that's where Duracell sat for 25 years. And John always thought or had a dream to continue to fix Duracell up and continue sailing. But happily for John, he met his wife and her daughter, who he adopted. And John, it was obvious to us that he was very happy. He was definitely a family man, we could tell. And so Duracell was never fixed up. So it was in 2019 that John posted on Sailing Anarchy, a local sailing forum, kind of offering up Duracell and asking for offers, ideas, and that's the post that Matt saw, and here we are.
And obviously it was extremely difficult for John to let go of this boat and the dream that he had to fix it back up and go sailing again. And to extremely generously give it to a couple of young dreamers like us, it absolutely changed our lives, and for the better. And he is helping me fulfill a dream I've had for a long time, and we will always be incredibly grateful to him and his family for helping us achieve this dream. So thank you, John. We have one new Patreon to thank this week, Lindsay, who we haven't heard back from yet. So thank you very much, Lindsay. And again, Patreons are what make this channel happen. We are so, so grateful, and we're looking forward to seeing you again next week.